Hi, my name is Daphne Neal, and I work in the Business and Government Division as a Public Service Assistant at the Akron Main Library. So what are sensory blankets and why are they so important? Sensory blankets, also called fidget blankets, are used by seniors with Alzheimer's or dementia who have restless hands. The fidget blankets allow seniors with these conditions to have stimulation through their hands, keeping them focused on an activity and reducing agitation. This is accomplished by touching the textures on the blanket or playing with the zippers attached to the blanket. Fidget blankets are important now more than ever. With nursing homes limiting visitation due to the pandemic, they can be made for older family members with the disease or can be made for donations. The sensory blankets can also be made for children with special needs who need to keep busy. Here are some different types of fidget blankets that we can make. As you can see, the zippers have been attached as well as buttons so that seniors with these conditions can touch the different textures on the blanket and use that to stimulate themselves. Here's another version. So the first type of sensory blanket that you can make is the basic one pattern. This can be made by cutting a fabric into a 10 by 10. For the basic type of sensory blanket with one fabric, we're just going to attach the opposite sides of the fabric using pins so that we can sew and pull through the final blanket. So let me show you how we're gonna do that. And then if you lift it up, if you want to turn it for each corner. So. Then you should lift it up and cut it out. Make sure to leave an opening as well so that you can pull it back through. Alright. Then take the pins out. Sometimes it helps to use an object like a pen so that you can push the corners out as you're turning it. All right. So then it should look like something like this. Your corners may be more turned out than mine. But then at the end you can finish the part that you left open and sew that back together so that you have a finished blanket. Now in terms of fidgets you can attach, you can really find anything that you have laying around your house, or you can buy things on clearance at craft stores like Michael's. Today I'm going to just be using a zipper and attaching that to the blanket. So it helps again to use your pins to secure things as you're sewing. I'm going to do that to each side of the zipper. Right. And then cut it with your scissors again. Right. And then make sure you can get any extra pieces of string off with the scissors as well. All right, so here's one fidget that can be attached to a blanket and one type of pattern that you can use as well. And as you can see, you can open that. And then the family member, whoever you're giving this for, the senior, they can play with that, as well as you can attach buttons and other things on there as well. So I would like to introduce our second type of blanket that we're going to be making, a quilt pattern. It's going to have 4 different sections of fabric, and our public service assistant Claudia will be doing that for you guys. So,
hi, I'm Claudia. I'm here I also work at the Akron Summit County Public Library. And I'll be making an example of the larger fidget blanket. It's the quilt style fidget blanket, and it's a little more complicated just because you have to sew 4 squares together. So I have my squares pre-pinned here. So we kind of just have them pinned along the side. You just have to get them sewn together first. However you want to sew them along the edges, straight line here, and then you have to sew them all together at the end. And then, just as Daphne did it before, you sew the blankets around the edge and then turn them inside out. So you have to start by sandwiching them together, right side patterns together, wrong side patterns out. And just start with that. Because you're doing so many, you don't have to cut string in between. Speed up your process. The fun part about these is that you don't have to go out and buy new stuff. If you are a crafter, you may already have stuff lying around, which is nice. I personally already had stuff from mask making, but having fabric might be something you already have if you already have a sewing machine and fabric. So this is just cotton fabric that you cut into 6x6 squares. Then you have to lay them out and then line them up again. Once again, right side to right side, wrong side out. Try to lay it as flat as possible. Trying to work it out smoother. You can always iron your fabric in between too. It helps get a smoother feel for it. Just like the example before, you sandwich your finished works together, right sides together, sew around the edges, and then turn it inside out because you leave a portion open. Turn inside out, and then with a pen or a crochet hook or whatever you have that's blunt, don't try to do it with something pointy because you might push through. And then you have a finished blanket. And then you try to attach different fidget objects, such as buttons or zippers or something fluffy or whatever's tactile and fun to play with. And so we're going to show you how to attach a button. You just have a needle and thread. You can use a machine. There's tutorials online to how to attach a button with a machine, but we just do hand sew. So just take up your piece with your blanket and start from the back because you're gonna tie off a knot. And with our buttons, they're really big, so if we started from the front, it would just fall right through. So we're gonna start from the back and push through the hole in the center, come all the way through until your knot's at the back. And then just cross through, cross over, go through the top. You just gotta work slow, because if you work a little too fast, you might bunch up your thread and get knots, and that's a little hard. And then you come from the back. I have to flip over. Try not to poke yourself. Just work. Cross over. Pretty intuitive. It's not that hard. And the other fun part is it's probably going to be really appreciated by the loved one or whoever you're donating it to. And that's our example. Trying to do it there. And then these are examples, again, with the buttons. If you just go cross, maybe even go back and forth that way, just so it's really attached, just because they're going to be played with and we don't want them to fall off. And so yeah.